Hello, my dear Libras. This is your love and spirituality reading for the time between March 16 and March 31st, 2018, with me, Queen of Cups Tarot. I have put astrological information for the month of March in a video of its own that you can check out in my playlist Q&A. You can also find it at my webpage www.queenofcupstarot.se, where you can find and buy all the decks I'm using in this video. There is also a subscription service up on my webpage that you can take part of if you want to learn more about spiritual growth, yoga, and tarot. For this reading, I used The Tarot of the Hidden Realms by Barbara Moore and illustrated by Julia Jeffrey, and I will start shuffling your cards. So, when I open your deck here, I see Eight of Cups and the World card. So, it seems like Eight of Cups, it's a card about kind of giving up something, or maybe you want to search for your life purpose. And the World card, it's like the World card. It's also talking about an ending. Eight of Cups is not really an ending. It's more like leaving a situation, maybe a family or a home, a relationship, whatever. Eights is usually like boomerang kind of card. It's boomeranging back. So it's a departure, but it's not forever. And the World, it's also an ending. It's the last card of the major arcana, so it might be like a big ending. Maybe you are traveling somewhere, or leaving for like something bigger, your life path. The World card is talking about your life purpose and being on the highest road towards your highest destiny. So it's very beautiful. Okay, so I call the divine with love and light. And here we have, the Ten of Swords in the World card. Ten of Swords is also endings. It's major arcana death, minor arcana death card, sorry. Ten of Swords is, it's an ending of an old way of living, an old way of thinking, an old way of being. Something needs to go, something needs to yield. It might be certain life values or life way of viewing life that needs to end. It might not have worked for you, and by ending this, by tossing off other people's opinion of you, or your own trained opinion of the world, or like this is how it should be, to changing it to this is how I want it to be, it's going to put you on your highest path towards your highest destiny. But for some of you, it might be that you're giving up something and saying, well, to heck with it. But it's actually going to be very useful for you to do this, because it's going to help you and put you on your highest path towards your highest destiny. So it's not a bad thing. This pain can be awful, but it's a trigger. It's a trigger for something else, okay? Something more beautiful wants to take part of your life, Libra. Okay, I call the four archangels in the four corners of the world. And here we have the Four of Swords. Also, the King of Wands wants to show itself. So the Four of Swords can be, it's like a situation where we are digesting something. And Knight of Pentacles. It's a situation where things are moving slowly. We are kind of making plans for something, but we don't want to really jump in and do it. With the King of Wands is another thing. It's an energy that more wants to jump in and do it. And this is Libra. So you might be torn between those two like alternatives, either being like slowly and really figure things through, growing like a plant slowly towards where you want to go. Whilst the King of Wands is more like yes, very strong energy, just moving through the grass of it all. So we'll see what's going on here. Okay, so I call the six elements: earth, wind, death, the World card. Both these two cards is about endings. Death is major arcana death. you had also minor arcana 10 of swords. That's also death, and the world is an ending. If it starts with a fool, it goes through, and death is like halfway through this, and there's some kind of adjustment along the way. You are maybe moving from one way of being to another. It's like a metamorphosis or a transformation, and then it's going back to here. So we can say that the death is, in a life, it would be like a midlife crisis where you're finally finding out what's worth living for, or it can be like turning ill and seeing what life is worth. While the world card is actually the departure, when you actually go and go through the dimensional doorway and die and go to another state. So I'm not saying that you're dying. I'm just trying to paint a picture here of what you're going through, that you're going through a big metamorphosis on many levels, like these levels. Both here you started with the Fool, and you go through death, number 13, you go through all these other things here, and then the World card. So it's through many transformation, many doorways, and it's maybe the double doorway. I had a dream about this. Maybe I told you the reading for the beginning of March, but you can check it out in the astrological video for the month of March. In the first comment that I have pinned there, someone has commented about Neptune coming back to Pisces, and I have, as an answer, I have told about this dream of mine going through the double doorway, and that the black horse of death with Neptune on its back came and kicked on both sides of my head. And it's like this is what's happening to you here. It's like you need to snap awake to go through this transformation. So I'm not sure what's exactly what's happening to you, but it seems to be very very transformational. Going to a metamorphosis is like when the Earth's crust go down underneath another crust. Like say that this is South America, and here comes one crust, and it's going underneath the South American crust and making a lot of volcanoes hitting here. Dish, dish, dish. And this crust that's going under here, it was seafloor, but here it becomes something else. It becomes melted, transformed, and it might be transformed into granites or a lot of different things, like it transformed into other species of rock. Okay, so that is metamorphosis, and this is what you're going through. So where were I? Earth, wind, fire, water, spirits, and ether, Ace of Wands, to join us here today and to give us a clear view reading for my dear Libra viewers. So I want my dear Libras to have love in their lives and to find themselves in loving relationships. I also want you to have creative success and to be able to walk on your highest path towards your highest destiny. So we didn't see the Fool card, like the new beginning with the Fool. We saw the new beginning with fire. Ace of Wands. We also saw the King of Wands earlier. So it's time for you Libras to stop growing like grass and starting to grow like wildfire. Okay, so it's time. It's time for this metamorphosis. I also did this likeness with volcanoes. So something wants to erupt with you. This needs big changes. Okay, so I will just take a few seconds here and tune into your energy and your reading. So my dear Libras, this is your future there, going into April 2018, and this is your now second part of March 2018, and this is the past. So it's can be whole 2017. It can be first part of this year 2018, but usually it's the first part of March. Okay, so Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups, you also had the Ace of Wands. Both of them are talking about a lot of passion. I also did this likeness with South American landmass and ocean floor going underneath. So that's water and land. So here we have the water, and we also, when I shuffled, we saw the land. In this case, it was fire, like magma. It's not even crusted just yet. It's still hot, and you need to use this moment in time to create the rest of your life. It's very important. You're going through a doorway. It's like going through a maturity ritual or bar mitzvah or whatever kind of like metamorphosis or door, maturity. You're maturing. Okay, so Ace of Cups might be a new love, like meeting a new love or finding the source inside of you. In my dream, there was this seal boy that was riding the horse, and he had the eyes of this seal, very big, dark eyes. So, and we actually have Neptune is home in Pisces right now. Big things are going to happen. We have Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Neptune is now in Pisces. They are all preparing for the big showdown on the 2nd of March, where in Virgo there will be a full moon in opposition to all these aligned objects in Pisces. Okay, so maybe you are preparing too. Okay, so this is second part of March, and here we have the Fool. Oh, we found him. Okay, both the aces, Ace of Wands, Ace of Cups. That's very passionate. It's very much alive, and here we see the very much alive Fool. So it's very beautiful. The Fool is very courageous, usually because he's naive and he doesn't have so much experience, so he's jumping into things, and he's doing so deliberately, like without premeditation. He just jumps. He just trusts everything, and he's like more a soul than a person with a body. So he's not afraid for his mortality. It doesn't matter what happens to him. He doesn't mind. So it's much like an enlightened being also. And this is much how the human nature is to the age of 3 about. And after that we become scared because we understand that we are separated, that the other people might not even exist. Maybe it's just you that exists, and we start to become scared because we see that we are separated from our mother and our family. But this Fool, he doesn't mind. Okay, so he doesn't mind wherever he goes, it's home. So I'm thinking this is talking a lot about stepping into your heart energy and becoming very courageous, starting to not mind so much what will happen, but being resilient and tough and strong enough and courageous enough to be able to take whatever happens along the road, and not being so stressed about it, but just, take whatever happens. So it's a very beautiful energy there. And this is your future, so going into April. And we also have the Page of Wands. And so here we have the start of that little wildfire that I was talking about. This is your spirit, Libra. This is how you show this Fool's energy, your soul's energy on earth. She's the little page here. He is listening to the divine, and the divine is, of course, his own core. The core of himself. What do I want? What do I like? And to there they are like skip through the forest. Okay, yes, and this is your old mindset, 8 of Swords. This is premeditation. This is thinking things through. What could happen? What can happen if this little person jumps skip through the forest? The raven here is warning about death. So it might be that you see dangers ahead that other people don't see, or that you have one side to you. This is Gemini, so it's kind of going back and forth between, well, I want to do this, but I can't because of this and this. But I still want to do it. No, I can't because this and this. And the Fool isn't like that. It just jumps. This Gemini is more like schizophrenia. It's I want 2 things in the same time, and no option seems like good enough. So it's a little bit this old caveman mentality. Imagine we were like a lost part of the human species. Maybe something like climate change or something big has disrupted us, so we moved around in the world, and we were only safe in our cave, if we ever went out, we could be eaten by like mountain lion or a bear or a wolf or whatever, or just fall and hurt ourselves. So we were scared. We didn't want to leave the cave, and maybe we wanted to leave with big troops of people so we can always be safe. So this is a little bit this mentality of premeditation, thinking before, and maybe driving yourself a little bit crazy while thinking. The Page of Wands is just doing things. It's like an animal that just do things naturally, and being like a beautiful part. You can see birds roaming in the sky in beautiful patterns. They just do it. They are just in harmony. So this is what the Page of Wands and the Fool is experiences, while the human mind isn't. They are scared. They do mind what happens. They do take things personally, and they don't want to lose control. Okay. So we'll see where it goes with all this. The first card for you here in the past, like past February, first part of March, is the Three of Swords. The Three of Swords also came for Cancer, but it came in this position. So Three of Swords is heartbreak. It's being through something that broke your heart or made you feel separated from your inner core of self. So you can see on this person's hand, she's bleeding. She has, maybe it has been this scenario that the prophet, like Khalil Gibran speak of in The Prophet, when love is calling you, follow him, even if the sword that's hidden beneath his wings could harm you. So maybe you did. Maybe you followed love like a fool into this situation, and you got hurt. But the pain is... it's your challenge. It's the way how the divine is pushing you to grow by putting you in difficult situations, maybe in time and again and again and again, until you are so tired that you don't have it in you to resist anymore. And then the Fool is born or reborn, and you become like the Buddha, where you don't mind what happens, and you don't try to control your life, and you don't premeditate anymore. You just take whatever life brings you, and you go with whatever your soul's longing in is. You kind of become like a little bit like an animal. But in the Egyptian religion, we had human beings here, animals here, and the divine here, because animals knew things that humans didn't. They knew if the Nile was going to overflow, or the winter was going to be cold, or everything like this, that human didn't, because we lost this connection with paradise. The Fool hasn't lost the connection with paradise, but here we have some disconnection with paradise. But Three of Swords, it's pain, it's sorrow, but it's also talking about something that was worth it. Okay, you had a situation, maybe a person in your life, a child maybe, or a work, or a relationship, a partner, lover, whatever. It was worth something for you. So the pain that comes when we lost something is not a punishment. It's a homage to whatever you had that you then lost. It talks about the value of things. It teaches you the value. So you will live more here and now. And the next time when you experience a lovely situation, you will savor it. You will live fully through it. And you will know that this too will pass. Also, this pain here will pass, of course. Everything will pass. Everything will turn to dust in your hands. You can't take anything with you when you go from here. The only thing you can take with you is your experience. And Three of Swords is experience. It's kind of when you, as a little person, you burn your fingers on the stove, and you learn that the stove can be painful, and you learn to not put your fingers on the stove anymore. So sometimes we take this decision when we have had heartbreak that we will never love again, that we will never experience this trauma again, and we withdraw to our cave. We'll see how you are dealing with this trauma. We have the Tower, so Three of Swords and the Tower together it's very painful. You might have recently been through some sort of breakup. Maybe there was some kind of new love. Maybe you met someone new, Ace of Cups, and it was a breakup. Maybe it's this relationship failed, or you had like an idea for something prosperous that you wanted to do, and it failed. Three of Swords is usually talking about a relationship, like also logic over heart, a little bit what we saw with the Eight of Swords here. The logic that has been put over heart, and therefore maybe you're thinking that a person or a situation isn't suitable for you, so you decide to, or someone else decided to end it because it wasn't like logic, and because if it wasn't logic, you got your heart torn out of your chest. Blasted Beach is a little bit stormy here. It's a little bit challenging. It might be a lot of flashes and thunder. And I think you had the Tower also in the past reading, but then it was in the future. So I guess this has gone through already, like you have experienced this. But it's good also because it's going to open your heart even more if you're courageous enough. In other case, you're going to retrieve back to the cave. Hopefully not. No, see here. King of Wands, masters of the flash and lightning, okay? Becoming a master of being courageous. Being able to go through whatever and still be like your soul self. Okay. King of Wands can of course also be the person at hand that have hurt you like this. Maybe you met, this can be a Leo, Sagittarius, or an Aries, and maybe they have been like a blasted beach in your life. But it was to teach you something about maybe love here. Ace of Cups, what's in your heart. As I said, can sometimes be a homage. So even if you met a person, King of Wands, like in their worst scenario, can be possessive, controlling. They don't have much patience. They want things now. They also like more predator like. So they can be like real abusive people. So you might have been faced with an abusive person, but just to find your own heart, like find out what you like and what you don't like. This King of Wands comes kind of out of this Three of Swords, the blasted beach. So it might also be like a person, it might not be you, it might be another person feeling a lot of heartbreak, living in their maybe ego tower, doesn't want to admit to what's in their heart, like this Ace of Cups. But then life happens, like destructiveness of life happens. This is the blasted beach. It's usually like the divine intervention, like a car accident, or you being flipped off your bike, or you be laid off, or a relationship ends. So it ends like your identification with certain people, situations, locations. It wants to shake you, to make you realize who you are apart from your stuff and the people in your life. So it might be that this is a person also coming out of their ego shell and showing more courage. Okay, so it doesn't have to be you. It might be another person that has lived in denial of their own heartbreak and pain. Okay, so put these cards up here. But it's still this, I'm still seeing these land masses crashing into each other. It's probably painful. And it's probably like the Tower, but more like volcanic eruption. But still what comes out of it is something that's going to be beautiful when it has gone to this metamorphosis of death and everything. So I think you are kind of making yourself from coal into diamonds. So that's probably a pressuring experience, but it will make you evolve, okay, from caveman mentality to something more beautiful and courageous, like a soul that really has taken full part of the body, like living there, not just you acting like a body without a soul. And here we have a Two of Cups. So even if their heartbreak, love still survives. It hasn't gone anywhere. It's still there. You still feel the connection with this certain person. It might be a person also have departed. Maybe someone has traveled maybe to another part of the continent, or another dimension maybe, okay, if they have went through that kind of door, and love is still there. So if you have met some person ever, you're never going to really lose them. Love is forever. Your experience is also something that you might be keeping for a very long time, even when your body is not here anymore. So even if you loved someone and lost them, it's the love is still there. That's a homage to this connection that you had with this person. It might be like a soulmate connection, and you might still be like connected with this person in some way through dreams, or actually maybe this is just like a marriage disruption. It has been a big quarrel, and someone is trying to be the bigger person and patch you up again, okay? Because with the Ace of Cups, the love is still there, and with the Fool, we don't have an ego to support. We don't try to, look good in front of other people. If you ever have seen George of the Jungle, he's kind of like the Fool. So it's a child's movie. It's I think it's hilarious. I've seen it together with my children when they were small. And he's he doesn't have an ego. He's perfectly like the Fool, perfectly in his soul, perfectly in his true instinctual self, following like his soul's longing. So the shortest book in the world, that's about George's secrets. Okay. So, and here we have the Queen of Swords. She's usually a little bit more full of secrets. And she comes underneath a blasted beach. So we have the King of Wands here and the King of Swords. So fire person, and maybe together with you then. Maybe both of you went through some kind of metamorphosis here with this blasted beach. Queen of Swords is a very wise person. She can see things from an above perspective. She sees what's just. She's also very logical. She has a heart, and Libra is the most emotional of all the air signs. You might not really like it, and you're trying to suppress this part of you, but here the divine is saying, try to suppress it and I will smudge you. So the Tower is like from small whispers to a blunt blow to your head. So it wants you to really, become the one that you are. Don't deny parts of yourself just to look good in the world. George wouldn't have, okay? So the Queen of Swords, she's wise. She has a high moral value and standard, and she is about truth, but she's also about secrets because she has been taught to keep her mouth shut due to eons of maybe harassment. When you are a truth teller, people will get scared of you also. They maybe don't want to hear the truth. Most people doesn't like pain and suffering. They don't want to know that there's something wrong with them. They take it very personal because they are in their ego. So they see their worldly titles and their achievements as them. They haven't understand that they are beyond this, and that all the worldly titles and good looks and everything will one day be gone. And she sees everything, and she might be a wake-up call for people, and therefore they're scared of her. So as a Libra, you might hold a lot of secrets because you're scared of the consequences if you would say the truth for what you really see. Okay. Well, next card here is the Star card. So star-crossed lovers is coming to mind here. It seems with the Three of Swords and the Tower that this Ace of Cups, this love from the source, has been through a little bit of metamorphosis. I was about to say hell and back, but metamorphosis can really look like hell, but it's for a good cause. It's change. Change is always good. We don't want change because we want to have control, but change is inevitable. And here we have the Star. So despite this metamorphosis, despite what this entity or this love has gone through, it might be a family situation. Most obvious is a love situation, of course. Nothing is lost, okay? As I said, if you met someone, even if they died from you, they are still yours, okay? You will be a part of their soul group forever. Even if you don't like them, you will like them in another dimension where we're all in our souls. Here on Earth, we become things that we haven't really, that we couldn't see if we weren't living in at Earth, there where there's a lot of resistance. So therefore, a really brave souls wants to come here to see who they really are, to see the log in their own eyes. But then when someone like the Queen of Swords comes and point that out, they might be going on a rampage or being really angry. So there's a reason to why you have kept your mouth shut. Here is Aquarius and this is Libra. So it's talking about very high visions, but also deep soul connections and contracts that might last over lifetimes. It's a very beautiful reading. And yes, here we have the Fool. And it's butterflies in both of these, also talking about metamorphosis, being a larva and metamorphose into a butterfly. That is what has happened to you, even though you look exactly the same. So people might come up to you and say that, what's up? And you have been through this big metamorphosis, but what can you say? Okay, it's not easy to describe something like this. So for the future, we have the Knight of Cups. So some of you might be dealing with a water sign, like a Pisces, most obvious Cancer, or a Scorpio person. This card, Knight of Cups, is about like chivalry love. It's about following your heart. It's about following your quest, your heart's quest, and searching for the Holy Grail. So usually when the Knight of Cups shows up, it's kind of the blast from the past. Knights are not specifically patient. Okay, they are young, restless, they want things and they want things now. And the Knight of Cups is like water running down hills towards the ocean. So there might be a relationship that has failed with a Pisces, Cancer or Scorpio that's here being reignited. Maybe through you, Libra, that has gone through this metamorphosis and now becoming much more brave. So you're ready to sacrifice something because you don't identify with your worldly titles anymore. You identify with your soul. So that's making you much more courageous. Maybe being able to use this force to reignite a relationship with someone that you love. Okay. Yes, Page of Wands. Page of Wands is messages. Knight of Cups is also messages, especially together with the Eight of Wands. This is Page of Wands, but Eight of Wands, both Page of Wands and Eight of Wands is messages. And with Eight of Wands and Knight of Cups together, it's usually about asking for forgiveness or trying to talk through things, communicate about things, so there's no more misunderstandings. So making kind of the clouds vaporize and going into mist and be gone, with people being able to communicate also the truth and very bravely communicate the truth, maybe to this water sign. Okay. It might also be, of course, King of Wands. I'm not seeing really the communication. It's more like out-of-wordy communication in that case. Maybe mind reading or through dreams. Okay, I'm not seeing this communicating so much. More being maybe a role model for how you want to act in your current relationships. Okay. Next card is a Page of Pentacles. So Page of Pentacles is the true you. Okay, we have the true. This is your soul. It's kind of the Fool going down in a body. So this is your body, and you need to honor your body because your body is like a seed here on earth. Your soul is in it, making your hands warm, your feet warm. As long as the soul is in there, the body is also alive. Okay, animated life. This body here, it come from the stars and it has a mission. It has something that it needs to do. And to do this mission, you need to be pure you, okay? Pure Libra, okay? So the blasted beach here has taken away everything that's not you and leaving someone that's probably much more emotional and much more spiritual in its wake, and making you being able to be your honest, vulnerable, true self in every situation. So that means being able to put boundaries where boundaries belong. If you don't like something, you say no. And also being able to say yes, because all this reading is about saying yes. Being courageous enough to say yes to what you do want, even if you risk losing it. Because, you know, the risk of loss is the risk of pain. And the pain, again, it's still a homage to what you once had. Okay, so it was worth having. That is what the pain is saying. It was worth having. But you might have been denying whatever you wanted because you were afraid of the pain to come afterwards. And you didn't really live at all. But here, this is life animated. Okay, you're starting to become alive. Okay, it's alive. So... and she seems to come like being like raised by wolf or something. She has lived in the forest. You forgot about her there. You forgot about who you were, and you probably try to live up to other people's expectations and try to look good in the eyes of others and get those worldly titles or the fast car or the money on the bank or whatever you needed to feel safe. But here it's something else. It's something more natural. It's something that's more in tune with your highest path towards your highest destiny, the core of you that will put you there. You must also talk about an earth child or a young earth individual, like underneath the age of 21. This individual is usually underneath the age of 30. King of Wands is an older person usually, or a person that has lived many lifetimes can also become a king on an early age. And here we have the World card. So walking on your highest path towards your highest destiny, and how you do that is becoming authentically you, also with your empathic Libra heart. Okay, being able to tell the truth, telling the truth about how you feel, what you want, what your body longs for, what your soul is longing for, what your dreams are, all these beautiful things. So it's a beautiful reading. You don't have to be scared. Everything will be lost one day anyway. So what you need to do is, of course, being able to maybe process pain better, not taking it so seriously. It's a lot of cards jumping. I want to have someone jumping that feels energetic. Oh, yes, okay, good. So, see what that was. Chop wood, carry water. Before enlightened, chop wood and carry water. After you have been enlightened, chop wood and carry water. So it's not special to become enlightened or to find yourself. It's just, you're just becoming alive, okay? So everything you do matters. Also, going on a walk, feeling the air in your lungs, everything will matter. Everything will be kind of extraordinary, also ordinary things. So it was a very high energetic reading, like flying high in the sky, finding your soul, taking it down on earth. And here we come down to the earth of things. Being grounded in everyday experience, humility. Okay, I see a lot of humility here. No one has the face of the ego anymore. There are times when the big dreams is meant to lie dormant in your consciousness so that you can pay attention to the simple chores in your life. Consider why pruning a tree is the forerunner of delighting in the beautiful blooms when it is in full blossom. The mundane act of pulling off dead leaves, watering the soil, and then leaving it be to let nature take its course is an important step in manifestation. Taking your attention away from your goal brings you in a state of receptivity. This is the deeper purpose for releasing attachment. When you engage in everyday tasks in a meditative, contemplative way, you clear your energy to receive your aha moments, which bring you even ever closer to what you seek. And we have 2 pages here and the Fool, so something is very fresh and new. Also, the Star card here is like a very young child. All this is new, and here new. Okay, so everything is very new, and you don't want to rush into things, even if you especially being like having the cave mentality. You don't want to rush into things, but it's like Things need to run its course. People need to grow to a certain level. Things has to be ready. This is just newborn, okay? It's not ready for anything. Just feel it. Just to swim around in this new feeling that you have of all this newness and all these opportunities. Don't expect it to be ready, like fully grown, okay? Nothing is as important right now as just doing what you need to do day to day. Let your heart remember that not everything has to be hard-won, passionate, or even obviously meaningful. Relationships and friendship go through lulls when the everyday tasks are at the center of awareness. That is perfect now. Hold hands, wash dishes, make a fire, read a book, share a meal, say nothing, stare into each other's eyes, space, pick up socks, tell a dumb joke, and leave space to breathe. The work of your relationship right now is very simple, just to be present. Funny how it takes work to just be. All is well, really. Yes. Are you an armchair astronaut? Do you dream of wealth and fame, big ideas, inventions, or desires with a capital D? This actually came in the reverse, so I'm reading the reverse message here. The appearance of this card is a sign that you might be devoting far too much time to dreaming and talking about your dreams. You have to get out of the chair to make things happen, or out of the cave, maybe for you. Start with a small task. Remember, the big dream becomes a reality only after you have begun to take incremental steps. Meteorologist Joseph Campbell once said, "Take one step towards the gods and they will take 10 steps towards you." So it's like your life is waiting, Libra, for you to start living it. So the time is now. Don't waste it. I've said this to you so many times. So see here, Wild Kuan Oracle card for my dear Libras. Only one, please. Only one. Live Wild Kuan Oracle cards for my dear Libras. Okay, we take that one. Thank you. This is kind of this fire energy that comes with this Fool and the Page of Wands. So I'll read it for you. It's card number 2. 2 is 1, 2 steps. So you have 2 of Cups also, Ace of Cups, 2 of Cups, and then you become your natural self, like open and vulnerable, saying what you really want, not saying I don't want that when you really want it, okay? So find yourself, and then you will be sure what you want. Did you know that joy is strong enough to overcome any darkness? I invite you to let go of the heaviness of fear and enter into the lightness of joy. I'll help you get there because I want you to feel happiness, relief, and freedom from that which has weighed you down. There is nothing so heavy that my joy can't heal it. Even the most cumbersome of burdens shall become light as a feather as you join me in the field of spiritual grace. Sometimes it's just time to lay down the pain of the past and lighten up. It is not about invalidating what has happened. You learned, you grew wiser, and that is what's important. It has helped you become strong, to become the person that you are today. But if you stay stuck in the pain of your past, thinking about it, fearing that it will repeat again and holding yourself back, you are letting it pull you down like emotional gravity. If you feel so heavy, how can you take a leap of faith? Like the Fool is taking leaps of faith every day. And believe that you can fly. Instead, you might compromise on your dreams and convince yourself that the pain of the past is an indication of what the future holds. You may forget to allow joy to inspire you a dream of a more beautiful life. That would be a shame, because there is a more beautiful life available for you, and you are being guided towards it now. Find a moment to smile, to play, to feel lightness in your heart. Even if you are consumed with darkness in great loss, imagine there is a tiny pinhole of light that exists in the deepest recess of your heart that can never be extinguished. Even through darkest night, that light is present, and when you remember it, even just for the moment, you shall be able to take pleasure and joy in some facets of your life, in some sweet memory or some hopeful prayer. In these moments, you are falling into the joyful hands of the Divine Mother, where great comfort and blessings of healing are granted. The world, the Great Mother. She wants you to be happy, so let her help you. Beautiful card. Okay, so I'm thinking some of you have been dealing with a great loss, and best thing to do is to, the pain, the sorrow will go in circles. So whenever the pain hits you, you stay and meditate on it and just being with it, giving the homage to the past that's now lost. And whenever you feel joy, you go with that, and you will come back to the pain again, and you will have to stay with it, and then you will feel joy again. So sorrow is moving in circles like this, and also when it's kind of the day when something happened, when you come back to that day the next year, it will be like maybe just 2 days have passed since it happened. So don't be alarmed when sorrow comes over you, because it might be something in the past that's triggering this without you knowing whatever it is. It's just there because it's time, because the time between years and the same date is like really short. It goes through this. If the year is like so, time can be like so also. So don't be alarmed if you have a lot of pain for some reason. It's coming up again. Just be with it and start to be a little bit more courageous with your life. Don't take the safe for the unsafe, like what you have done up till now. Try to be a little bit like, start something with this ignition that you now have. Start to build your life in the way that you want it. No one else but you. Okay. So my dear Libras, thank you for watching this far. For you that have watched this far, I want to tell you more about my subscription service. It's for those of you that wants to learn more about Kundalini Yoga and spiritual growth. I'm teaching you how to tune into this kind of energy, the Fool's energy, to your soul's energy. So you're welcome to come to my webpage, queenofcupstarot.se, and look at the subscription page. If you're going in from a mobile device, you might need to click subscription twice before you end up on it, since it has an under page. So it's some technicality. I don't know why it's like that. And choose language. Click on the flag. If you're going in on a mobile device, you might only see the Swedish flag. Click on that and you can choose the English flag. So there's 2 languages on that page. So I welcome you to join me. We are having a great time with this, and it's making me really happy to be able to share all what I have learned with you, so I'm not just keeping it bottled up inside. Okay, so also I welcome you back to my my beginning of April reading that I will do in the mid-month of March. Also brace yourself for this full moon that will come now in the 2nd of March. We will have 2 full moons in March. You can check out my astrological video in the Q&A, okay? Q&A playlist. Take care and bye-bye.